Alright, it's an exciting day today. We're going to unbox this HAFCO BS-5S swivel head bandsaw. Had it delivered the other day. It's quite large, the box. It weighs about 80 kilos, so it's a little bit tricky to manoeuvre. So this is, I think, one of about 4 models. They typically come with swivel head or no swivel head and a stand or no stand. So this one is obviously the one with the stand and the swivel head, and basically means I can feed long material into the bandsaw's vise without having to swing the back end of the material back and forth in the garage. So that's a bit of a plus. Yeah, so enough of the guff. Let's crack this bad boy open and see what it looks like. Yep, okay, let's unbox it. Alright, let's have a look what we've got here. The old manual. Nice packaging. Some kind of base plate. And we have a closer look in the box. What we can see here is the main bandsaw. Looks like the band to run it. It's boxed quite nicely, actually. With a few bits and pieces in it. It's quite heavy. I'll have to put the camera down and lift that. But other than that, it looks quite good. I'll take it out and we'll continue. Alright, so I've just pulled that out. That's the stand for it. And if we look in the back of the manual here, it kind of shows what's required. Crank this bad boy open. I love their styrofoam. Box. Alright, so I want to unpackage this and try and put it together. So I've just unpackaged the stand components, and I'm pleasantly surprised. The quality of it looks quite good, actually. The accuracy of the stamped steel, where it's all folded, the coating is actually quite impressive. Doesn't look like it's gonna rust out within a couple of weeks of getting this out of the box. So yeah, not bad. Also, the quality of the fasteners is also quite good. I don't know if you can see in there. Again, exceeds expectations. I was hoping they would have provided something for the feet here to level it out, but I haven't found anything that indicates that they would have done that yet. There are what looks like feet for the bandsaw itself. So I'll come back to that when we go to put it all together. Okay, so what I've done here is I've unboxed it, used a chain block to help me lift it up onto the stand. What I'll say at this point is that it is, I mean, it sits on there, but it's not the world's best fit, that's for sure. As you can see, kind of there, and it just sits over a little bit. There are a couple of bolts that holds it to the stand, that one, and on the other side, I'm not going to be able to see it, but basically it's up in there, so that holds that down to here. So just two bolts. It is quite bulky and heavy, but once it's on the stand, it's not too bad. Okay, so a few more things worth noting with this machine is it comes pre-fit with a blade, and the nuts and bolts for fastening brackets and stuff are already put onto the machine. So in order to fit the brackets and stuff, you need to remove those. So that's where this guard goes for the drive belt. So I will take those out and put that on, and then I'll come back. I've just put the belt cover on. All pretty straightforward. There's only really two screws that hold that on. In terms of tolerance between, like the gap between the, I wonder if you can see that. It's tight, but it's not too bad. There's clearance there. So the next thing to do is to put the belt on and adjust the tension. Now with the tension, it's in a bit of an unusual spot there. So it kind of fouls. I don't know, whatever that is, probably a capacitor of some sort. So it's a little bit tricky. Fortunately, I have one of these, and that just goes straight in there, and I'll be able to adjust it that way. I'm just going to be cutting some mild steel, which you can see here, which equates to a medium B and a medium E, which is just the two metal pulleys there. So I'm just going to set the machine up for that. You can see the pulley fit to the middle, which is just the medium speed, and I've adjusted the tension using that screw there. That is covered more or less just snaps shut, and there's a screw that holds it all in place. So as you can see in there. Alright, fasten that up a bit more. Okay, in order to lift the blade, you need to remove the chain that holds it down. So I've just done that and just put the screw back in. So this should just lift up now. Look at that. There we go. That's what the machine looks like. Yeah, I also put a chock in there to stop that from moving around. So the next thing for me, I'm going to check the tension of the blade, make sure it's in properly. Once I've done that, I'll probably try and spin it by hand, and then all going well, I'll start it up. So that first cut didn't go all the way through. I had to adjust the machine to make it cut all the way through. What was happening was, and this is something to be aware of, this was hitting the stop button before the blade had got through the base of that. And effectively what that meant was the blade was slowing down, and the button wasn't fully off. So if I lifted the blade, it would just come back on again. So you need to be careful, I think, when you configure this thing, because if the blade's down, it's stopped, but if you lift it, you might lose a finger. So do be careful about that. I'm going to give this another go and see if it'll cut all the way through. So it looks like the blade stalled there for a bit. Maybe there was too much pressure, too much weight on it. So that's something else to be aware of. Looks like it cuts out pretty quick. So if I lift this now, it shouldn't start up again. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, definitely check that adjustment. So I've done 2 cuts now. The first one I had issue with the safety stop switch. And the second one, the blade stalled half the way through and I had to lift it up a little bit to start it up again. This time I'm going to try and go all the way through without stopping and without the blade stalling. Let's give that a run. And if I lift this up, it shouldn't start up again. Yeah, there we go. I'll just check one more thing. So looking at the blade, if I look at the teeth, specifically the teeth, what I can see is it looks like that tooth there, for example, there's one missing, that one's damaged, and these teeth here look like they've been removed. So yeah, that's unusual. I would have expected the blade to be a little bit more robust than that. In any case, I've got some spare blades. I'll put them on eventually and we'll try it again. Alright, it's been a couple of months now since I first unboxed this machine, and I've been running it. I've been building some projects. As you can see, there's no blade in there at the moment because that blade snapped, and that was the blade that came with the machine initially. And I've also got it set up for basically vertical cutting. This is a project I've been working on. There's about 100 odd cuts in there thus far, and this is for a drill press table. And as you can see, the cuts themselves have been quite good. Cutting angle iron, a bit tricky because the inside is not square. So when you stick it in the vise, you need to space it out so that it cuts square. The interesting thing with this is that this blade, or the blade I'll show you soon, snapped when I was cutting some vinyl floor tiles, some hybrid vinyl floor tiles, and what I found was that the plastic from the floor tile, or the vinyl, would get stuck around the wheel, and basically this whole wheel was just caked on the underside of the blade with little bits of flat plastic. Both blades, both rollers, top and bottom, and I think that's basically stressed the blade, or stretched it, and caused it to snap. With that being said, it's interesting as well. If we have a quick look at this blade, I'll see if we can find you some of the teeth that it's lost in that 100 odd cuts. Let me see. There we go. Maybe that's a better view, but you can see we're missing a number of teeth here. Let's some more missing teeth. Some more missing teeth. A heap of missing teeth here. So this was the stocker blade that came with the machine, and it's done about 100 odd, maybe 115 cuts, and it's cut through some chromoly, but mostly angle iron, and it's lost a lot of teeth along the way. So I'm going to swap this particular one out with a new blade, which is this one, which is a Starrett blade. So hopefully I have a bit more luck with this blade. This one's got 18 TPI. I think that looks pretty similar to the blade that was on there. So all going well, this will be much more successful. But other than that, this machine's been quite good so far. So I think maybe one of the downfalls of this machine is that it doesn't have any way to control the basically down speed. Some other machines have got like a hydraulic or pneumatic control, which adjusts how quickly it drops. That would be a pretty cool addition to this particular machine. Bit difficult to fit because this one swivels at the base. The ones which basically don't swivel at the base but swivel at the vise, yeah, it's a lot easier to fit or retrofit something or a solution to those machines. But who knows? We'll see how we go. Maybe I'll wire something up at some point. And that is it for now. All right, quick recap. I've just put a new blade on. That's the Starrett 18 TPI, and I've just made a lot of cuts on some angle iron. Now the first thing I noticed with this blade is that it cuts significantly slower than the previous blade. So I recounted the teeth on the old blade, and the old blade is 14 TPI and this one is 18. In order to kind of get something similar to the old blade, I had to increase the speed. So I've gone from 24 MPM down to, up to 36 MPM, which is medium, which is B&E on the pulleys, and that made a significant difference. But I would say that maybe 18 TPI for mild steel is not aggressive enough. Anyway, time will tell.